I wasn't supposed to be in the office that night. But what I saw on the surveillance footage changed everything. And now, someone wants me to disappear. I always thought the late-night silence of Goldspire Corporation felt eerie, but that night, the quiet wasn't just uncomfortable, it was dangerous. My name is Emily Carter. I'm 30 years old and I've worked as the executive assistant to CEO Nathan Dempsey for 5 years. Efficient, loyal, invisible, that's how I liked it. Until the night I stayed late to finish the quarterly budget report, and accidentally uncovered a secret that no one was supposed to see. It started with a flickering screen in the security control room. I had dropped off the finance files in the executive suite and was about to leave when I noticed the light on in the basement surveillance office. Strange, our security guard, Mark, usually left it dark when his shift was over. Curious, I stepped inside. The room was empty, monitors humming quietly, most of them showing dark, empty hallways. Except one. Camera 14, in the executive conference room. It showed 2 people, dimly lit, shadows stretching across the long table. A man in a suit, tall, familiar. A woman, in a tight black dress. The timestamp read 10:47 p.m. The room was supposed to be empty. But it wasn't. At first, I thought I was imagining it. Then I saw him, the way he moved, his voice just barely picked up by the audio. It was Nathan. My boss. The man whose calendar I controlled, whose secrets I kept. And the woman? It was Claire Monroe. Our firm's senior legal counsel. Married. Ruthless. Brilliant. What I saw next made my stomach twist. They weren't just having a conversation. They were intimate. Desperate. Like lovers in a forbidden affair, only this wasn't just passion. It was strategy. Between the touches and heavy breathing, I heard words like merger, leverage, and blackmail. I couldn't look away. But then, Claire stopped. She turned toward the camera. Looked directly into it. Into me. Chills ran down my spine. Had she known someone would be watching? I shut the monitor off and backed away, heart pounding. But it was too late. I had seen it. All of it. And something told me, they knew. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. I replayed the footage in my mind over and over again. Nathan and Claire, not just having an affair, but conspiring. They were using each other. For power. For control. For something big. And I had stumbled right into the center of it. The next morning at work, everything felt different. Nathan greeted me like usual. Polished. Cold. Morning, Emily, he said with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Claire passed by later, wearing her usual crimson lipstick. She winked. I nearly dropped my coffee. They were pretending nothing happened. As if I hadn't seen anything. But I knew better. Something was coming. Later that day, I returned to the security office. Mark, the night guard, wasn't around. His desk was cleared. His nameplate gone. No one said a word. It was like he never existed. That was when I realized, I wasn't just dealing with infidelity or corruption. This was a cover-up. And I was the next loose end. I started copying the footage. I didn't know who I could trust, so I made a backup on a personal encrypted USB. If anything happened to me, someone had to know the truth. That evening, as I walked to my car in the parking garage, the lights overhead flickered. I picked up my pace. The echo of my heels bounced against concrete like gunshots. Then I heard it, footsteps. Behind me. Measured. Slow. Emily, a voice called. I froze. It was Marcus Trent, the head of internal compliance. He was tall, lean, always carried a leather notebook and never smiled. A man with secrets. And now, he was standing 10 feet behind me in the dark. We need to talk, he said. About what? I managed, trying to keep my voice steady. About what you saw. And what you plan to do with it. I stared at Marcus, trying to read his face. Was he here to threaten me? Silence me? Or protect me? He stepped closer. You don't understand what you've gotten into, Emily, he said, voice low. This isn't just about an affair. It's about money. Power. And lives on the line. I clutched my bag tighter, feeling the USB drive inside. Then help me understand, I said, breath sharp. He looked around the garage, then motioned for me to follow him to his car, a black SUV with tinted windows. I hesitated, but something in his eyes wasn't threatening. It was terrified. Inside the car, Marcus pulled out a file folder. Inside were pictures. Documents. Bank transfers. This goes all the way to the board, he whispered. Nathan and Claire have been orchestrating shell company mergers to siphon funds. Millions. Offshore. Illegally. He flipped to a photo, Nathan shaking hands with a man I didn't recognize. That's Anton Leary. Russian investment broker. And not the legal kind. My pulse raced. Why are you showing me this? Because you're in danger. They know you have the footage. They sent me to deal with it, but I've been building my own case. I want out. And you're my leverage. I swallowed hard. You want to expose them? Yes. But we need evidence. Documents. A chain. Something bigger than just one night in the conference room. I paused. I copied the video. I have it. But if I hand it over, how do I know you won't turn on me? Marcus leaned in, eyes fierce. Because I don't want to die. And if we don't take them down, one of us, maybe both, will end up like Mark. I froze. What happened to Mark? Marcus looked away. Dead. Staged as a suicide. He saw too much. Just like you. My hands went cold. My breath caught. I can't go to the police, I whispered. No. Not yet. But we can go to someone who's been watching them longer than we have. He handed me a burner phone with a single contact saved. R. Sinclair, investigative journalist. The burner phone felt heavy in my hand. R. Sinclair. I didn't know the name, but Marcus swore she was our only hope. A journalist who had been chasing corruption inside Goldspire for years, silenced, threatened, but never stopped. I took a breath and called. It rang once. Twice. Then, this is Sinclair. Marcus Trent gave me your number, I said. I have something. Surveillance footage. Proof. A pause. Meet me in 1 hour. Midtown Library. Parking structure level 3. Don't bring your phone. Don't talk to anyone. If you're followed, don't come. The line went dead. I looked at Marcus. He nodded. 1 hour later, I stood in the gray mist of a rainy rooftop parking lot, heart pounding. Sinclair arrived in a silver sedan, her face sharp, eyes tired, like someone who hadn't slept in years. You have the footage? She asked. I handed her the USB. There's more. Internal records. Offshore payments. Nathan and Claire, they're laundering millions. She looked at the USB, then at me. You realize this could get you killed? I'm already halfway there, I said. Just then, a black car skidded into the lot. Doors flung open. Nathan stepped out. So did Claire. Behind them, 2 men in suits. Guns drawn. My breath caught. Sinclair whispered, "Run." But it was too late. They had us. Nathan stepped forward, calm as ever. Emily. I thought you were smarter. Claire smiled, cold as ice. Hand over the USB. But Sinclair wasn't bluffing. It's already backed up. Multiple locations. You kill us, it goes public. Nathan hesitated. For the first time, real fear in his eyes. I stepped between them. No more threats. No more secrets. This ends now. Sirens. Red and blue lights reflected off the rain-slick pavement. FBI. They swarmed the lot, guns raised. Someone had tipped them off. Nathan and Claire were surrounded. The agents cuffed them as they screamed, threats, promises, begging. It was over. Or so I thought. Weeks later, I sat in a quiet cafe with Sinclair. She handed me a folder. What's this? I asked. Your next story, she said. Nathan and Claire? Just pawns. There's someone higher. Someone watching. Inside the folder was a photo. Anton Leary. Smiling. Right into the lens. The photo of Anton Leary haunted me. He wasn't just smiling, he was posing. As if daring someone to come find him. And now, Sinclair and I were going to do exactly that. We traced the photo to a 5-star hotel in Manhattan, the Albrecht. Room 79. The check-in records were fake. Paid in cash. No ID. But the security cameras told a different story. Anton had checked in 3 weeks ago, with a briefcase, 2 phones, and a woman whose face was blurred on every frame. We're not dealing with just a money launderer, Sinclair muttered. This guy's connected to something bigger. We waited. 3 days later, room 79 lit up again. Anton was back. This time, I followed him. Sinclair stayed behind, feeding me real-time updates through an earpiece. I pretended to be hotel staff, carrying a tray of bottled water and towels. My heart pounded as I reached the 7th floor. I knocked once. The door creaked open. A voice from inside, leave it. But curiosity overrode fear. I pushed the door open an inch more. Inside, Anton stood near the window. But he wasn't alone. Sitting across from him, an older man, silver hair, impeccable suit, and a calm that reeked of authority. He turned. Our eyes met. And that's when I realized, I knew him. Vincent Roth. Former U.S. Secretary of Commerce. Resigned mysteriously 5 years ago after a corruption scandal that was quickly buried. He hadn't disappeared. He'd gone underground. And now he was here, whispering orders to the man laundering millions through Goldspire and its shell companies. Before I could retreat, Anton spotted me. Who are you? He barked, stepping forward. I dropped the tray. Ran. Back in the alley behind the hotel, Sinclair pulled me into the car. What happened? Vincent Roth, I gasped. He's the real one behind this. Sinclair's face turned pale. Then she opened the glove box and pulled out another folder. I was hoping you wouldn't say that, she whispered. Because if you did, it means they'll come after us both. And this time, they won't miss. Vincent Roth wasn't just a name in a forgotten scandal. He was the gatekeeper. And what lay behind that gate was terrifying. After that night at the Albrecht, Sinclair and I went underground. No phones. No bank cards. We switched cities, IDs, even hair colors. Everywhere we went, someone seemed to be watching. You were never supposed to see that room, Sinclair said one night. Room 79? That's where deals are made. Governments bought. Wars arranged. It sounded insane. Until I found the ledger. We broke into one of Goldspire's offshore servers with help from Sinclair's hacker contact, a man known only as Kite. It took 3 days and nearly got us caught by digital trace agents. But we got in. And what we found wasn't just money transfers. It was a network. Dozens of corporations. Shell companies tied to energy, weapons, biotech. Donors linked to political campaigns across multiple nations. And at the center of it all? The Silent Cabal. That was the name of the folder. Inside were encrypted memos. Meeting transcripts. Surveillance reports. Lists of people, judges, bankers, senators. All marked with codes. Green meant compliant. Red meant eliminated. My name was in red. So was Sinclair's. And Mark's. Suddenly, every shadow felt sharper. Every knock at the door, louder. We had to act. We leak it, I said. All of it. To every outlet. Everywhere. Sinclair hesitated. That's not enough. They'll scrub it. Spin it. We need someone inside. Someone who knows how they move. And that's when she said it. Anton Leary isn't loyal to Roth. He works for whoever pays more. My stomach dropped. We flip him? Yes, we flip him. Finding Anton wasn't the hard part. Getting him to listen was. He didn't pick up when we called. He didn't respond to messages. But we knew where he'd be, the Birch Room, an exclusive underground bar in D.C., known for deals that never made it to paper. We watched from across the street for 2 nights. He always arrived at 10 p.m. Alone. No guards. No entourage. Just him, sharp suit, colder eyes. Sinclair turned to me. You sure about this? No, I said. But I'm doing it anyway. I walked in that night with nothing but the USB and a shaking resolve. Anton was in a leather booth, sipping something expensive. When he saw me, he didn't flinch. Took you long enough, he said, motioning for me to sit. I assume this is about Roth. I nodded, heart pounding. I have files, I whispered. Names. Accounts. And I know you're not loyal to him. He laughed, short and bitter. Loyalty? That's a luxury for people with nothing to lose. I placed the USB on the table. You help me expose him, the entire cabal, and I make sure you disappear before they come crashing down. He eyed it. Then leaned in. You know what this means, don't you? If I flip, I burn every bridge. I become a target. You already are, I said. He went silent. Then slid the USB into his jacket pocket. Fine. I'll talk. But not here. We drove to an abandoned church an hour outside the city. Anton opened a hidden compartment behind the altar, pulling out files, flash drives, even audio recordings. Roth isn't the leader, he said. He's just the front. The real architect? We call him the broker. No name. No face. But everything, every war, market crash, regime change, starts with him. He handed me a photo. A man shaking hands with a senator. Grainy. Blurred. But behind them, someone watching. Half hidden. But familiar. Sinclair's face turned white. Oh my God, she whispered. That's. Before she could finish, the church window shattered. Gunfire. I hit the floor. Anton grabbed a pistol from the altar. They found us, he growled. We were no longer hunting the truth. Now, the truth was hunting us. The bullets ripped through stained glass like razors. Anton fired back, dragging me behind the pews. They're not here to scare us, he shouted. They're here to clean up. Sinclair was already bleeding, her shoulder grazed by a shard. But her grip on the flash drive never loosened. This is the last copy, she hissed. If it's lost, we won't lose it. I yelled, pressing down on her wound. Anton hurled a smoke canister toward the broken entrance. Cover your eyes. A wall of white fog filled the church. Shouts. Gunfire. Then silence. When it cleared, the attackers were gone. But they had left a message, a bullet, embedded in the wood, with a tiny note. Stop. Or next time it's your family. My hands trembled. My breath, ice. We had crossed a line. No going back. That night, Sinclair made the call. We leaked everything. The footage. The ledgers. The audio tapes. Not just to news outlets, we sent them to rogue journalists, ex-military whistleblowers, underground forums. We flooded the internet. And waited. Within hours, Goldspire stock crashed. Senators denied involvement. CEOs vanished from public view. But the cabal didn't collapse. It adapted. New names replaced the old. New shell companies rose. The broker was still out there. So we hunted. We traced the source of the earliest transactions. Deep layers of fake accounts, digital proxies, international servers. Until one led us to a private banking server in Geneva. Access required biometric login. We had one shot. Anton arranged a meeting under a false identity. Emily Carter was now Anna Sloan, independent investor. The banker greeted us with warmth. Miss Sloan. The broker is expecting you. My blood turned cold. We were being watched the whole time. He led us into a high-rise office with black marble floors and no windows. And there, behind a sleek mahogany desk, stood the man we only knew from whispers. The broker. But it wasn't a man. It was a woman. Tall. Impeccably dressed. Hair pinned, voice soft, terrifyingly calm. I was wondering when you'd find me, she said. You've made quite the mess, Emily. My name. My real name. She knew everything. Anton's hand twitched near his coat. Don't, she warned. One move and your little rebellion ends here. I stepped forward. Why? Why build all this? Why so many lives destroyed? She smiled. Because chaos is profitable. She tapped a key. Behind her, screens lit up, markets crashing, wars breaking out, headlines screaming. I don't destroy the world, she said. I manage its pain. That's what makes me rich. I looked at Anton. Then Sinclair. Then back at her. And I said the only thing that could end it. We uploaded everything. Live. Real time. While we were walking in here. She blinked. Then smiled wider. Well done, she said. Now you understand the game. The broker didn't flinch. Even as the data spilled across every major screen in Times Square. Even as her offshore accounts were frozen. Even as governments issued arrest warrants and her network began to collapse. She simply folded her hands. You think exposure wins the war? She asked. This was never about hiding. It was about control. And you gave me something no one else could. I blinked. What? She smiled. A legacy. And then she stood. Walked to the windowless wall. Pressed a hidden switch. The panel slid open, revealing a tunnel. She turned back once, her voice like velvet. You're brave, Emily. But bravery doesn't survive long. Not in a world built on silence. She vanished into the dark. And for a moment, it felt like we had lost. But the world was watching. This time, they didn't look away. People took to the streets. Investigations launched. Witnesses came forward. Whistleblowers from around the globe began to speak. Because one woman had dared to confront the shadows. Sinclair survived her wounds. Anton disappeared, but not before leaving us a final message. The game's changed. You changed it. And me? I disappeared too. Not in fear. In purpose. I became someone else. A name not tied to death threats or data leaks. I worked from the shadows, dismantling the networks one layer at a time. Every corrupt wire. Every blood-stained contract. Every hidden vault. Until one day. A letter arrived. No name. No return address. Just 3 words on cream-colored paper. It's over. I stared at it for a long time. And smiled. Because I knew. She was finally gone.